food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Legacies aren't built overnight. They're built 1 second at a time. Never taking a lap off, and always pushing the limits. K1, helping you build your legacy from the beginning.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make way. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Cool features that Race Studio 3 has that people normally don't know about it. The track map on the background. So if you just connect your computer to the internet, you can come up here and click on this Google Earth icon, and it will pull the background from the Google Earth into your GPS data.
If you want to learn more about data analysis, you can sign up on my website right now. Enjoy the online course today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
The day is ours and we seize it. Haters, man, they got reasons. Grab the moment, we freeze it. Go to the touch, oh what a rush. Follow your heart, homie, go where the love. Let it rain, let it flow, let it flood. Swimming in good vibrations, it's a celebration. It's the liberation of everything we are. Every time you in the clouds, they gon' try to bring you down. Do not let them try, go ahead and get it, get it, get it, get it.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Empire Karts, your trusted trackside kart specialist, proudly supporting champions of the Future America Series, West Coast karting teams, and racers. Empire Karts, your trackside solution.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
You have to fight to pull ahead, to find your edge, to do whatever it takes to make you 1/10 of a second faster, smarter, more committed than the other guy, because you've got the kind of passion that can overcome the impossible. And we've got the most powerful performance race fuel available to help you do it. Sunoco Race Fuels. Take the lead.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes.
Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
One thing that is really nice about the Micron 6 is with this new IMU platform, now they put an embedded channel with the steering wheel angle. This channel is really nice to use if you're trying to understand how the drivers are behaving through the corners, if it's oversteering, understeering. But you need to be careful. Because we're measuring this at 100 times per second, when you look on the data, it's very, very noisy. So when you look on the data, we have here the steering wheel angle raw output in blue, and then we have to apply a filter to treat this data, and then that's the filter in red.
If you want to learn more about data analysis, you can sign up on our website right now. Enjoy the online course today.
We are live for round number 3 of the Champions of the Future America Series. As always, my name is Caleb Vieska. Alongside me here in the booth this weekend, the one and only Nate Dean. As, again, just started qualifying a couple of moments ago, Asher Bazonsky, first pole sitter of the day in the mini divisions. He put it on the pole in the 2:13 machine and with a time of a 1:11.877. Maddox Carlucci to Benjamin Tabby, your top 3 in the mini divisions. But nonetheless, Nate, welcome back. Round number 3 on what's a busy weekend for us. 3 separate races, 3 separate states. We're in Arizona as well for the Rotax Max Challenge America's Trophy, as well over in Atlanta, Georgia, for another round of the Apex Karting Championships. First of all, Nate, good afternoon. Good morning, I should say. Welcome back to racing action here at Champions of the Future.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb. Round 3 already. Season's flying by for us and the drivers in the paddock. First 2 rounds were some incredible racing. It's what K1 Circuit does, it's what Champions of the Future America Series does, and back for another round, round 3, and a track layout that's going to throw a lot of unknowns at these drivers in this paddock.
Yeah, a different look to the track this weekend, 16 turns. And as you may have seen on social media, we're going the opposite way around. Turn number 1, which was, again, the final corner. Turn number 1 this weekend was the final corner just about a month ago whenever we were here for round number 2. So it's a long run out of turn 16, the chicane. The first time that we're seeing this, it's usually a fast right-hander, which now turns into a left-hander. But again, you have a chicane that makes up 3 different corners, turn 14, 15, and 16. Rocky Moran, going to be a great place as well to see some action later on today. And I know our fellas on site had some fun last night running around on that racetrack, Nate. But yeah, it's a different look to this track. The first time that we're seeing this this layout, personally, for myself, and I'm sure for a lot of maybe some drivers racing here this weekend, this layout super technical with the addition of that chicane towards the final couple of corners. And again, we've already seen throughout the morning sessions, just kind of sitting here and watching and taking everything in, how aggressive drivers have been over the curbs to kind of start off the day and the weekend, really.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of photos and videos on social media of the past couple of practice days of drivers really getting the grips with that tic-tac-toe chicane that ends the lap, like you were saying. 14, 15, and 16. Not going to be surprised to see all 4 wheels up in the air in some of these categories, especially the X30 divisions and maybe the faster of the KA divisions as well. KA Junior, though, ready to roll out and tackle what is, like we've been saying, Caleb, a very technical, a very difficult layout. And you have to think most of these drivers have been getting so acclimatized to going what is the regular direction around here. Now to switch it up, head backwards with a altered layout, going to throw a few wrenches in the works, and we're going to see what drivers can adapt to the challenge.
And we're about to find out moments away from hitting the racetrack here once again. When you look back to K100 Junior at round number 2, Sebastian Hauser was faster than everybody else in the qualifying sessions. Wasn't able to hold on to it in the end. Braden Wagner came across with the win. after post-race penalties. Tyron Scott was the driver that crossed the line in first, but a 10-second time penalty for incident responsibility gave the win over to GFC as well for the group. For, again, Formula Works, and how great that camp has been so far to start the Champions of the Future America Series, Nate. And Braden Wagner picking up another win on the year. He was able to win round number 1, wins the second round as well after it's all said and done and after the dust settles. And when you look at round number 3, he hasn't yet been able to take a qualifying session or a pole position here in 2026 for the inaugural season of the Champions of the Future America Series. So that would be a huge success for that driver that currently sits third in line. And as well for the rest of his teammates under Formula Works, Ellsworth right there, Nixon and Keegan, that I'm sure will be joining us here this weekend. And Sebastian Hauser, a driver that's been very fast, also looking for that first race win to his name here in 2026.
Yeah, Sebastian Hauser, the HRT driver. It's really a matter of when, not if, he gets that first win. He's been so impressive, but just hasn't been able to get it done come main event time, and it's unfortunate for him, unfortunate for the HRT driver camp, as Tyron Scott, driver who came across the line first in the main event last race weekend, of course, had that post-race penalty like you were talking about, Caleb. Wide moment there out of turn 16. And that's something we're going to see a lot of, Caleb, because drivers will be wanting to carry as much momentum onto that long straightaway as they can. It's going to get a little sketchy going over those curbs, but it's a risk those drivers are going to have to take.
And very similar to that, we saw the pretty much exact same moments out of some of our mini drivers, right? Just going up and over the curbs, you know, using as much asphalt as they can, and sometimes just going that little bit over the limit, putting 2 tires in the dirt. You saw a couple in the wall as well before the conclusion of the session that didn't allow them to finish or close the session out. But this corner right here is going to be another struggle spot. Turn number 9 out of the chicane as they head into turn number 10. That exit, that runoff, you know, for drivers wanting to use as much track space, you will see a lot of them go off the racetrack, dip a tire, and here especially, right, 14, 15, 16, and as we saw to Tyron Scott, just going that little bit wide, and even drivers in the background as well, right, just going wide and bringing dirt onto the racetrack, marbles, you know, all this unwanted, you know, dirt that's pretty much gonna remove the grip out of these press-it tires for the entirety of maybe a corner. Luckily for them, they have a straightaway where they could almost clean them off, but that won't help a lap if you're coming through there blind with other drivers going off the racetrack in front of you, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, the track was designed to go the other direction, and you can see that with the exit curbing. Most of these drivers throughout the past couple of race weekends for Champions of the Future for other race events will have had that fallback of those exit curbs that are a little wider than a kart width that you can go onto. Now, though, if you go wide, you're off into the dirt, you're going to be losing time. So it just, for those drivers that are, you know, clinical with it, they can put the kart inch perfect at an apex, obviously it's going to help them. Again, through here, you can just see all the dirt and debris that's waiting for you if you get it wrong. And that's something the leaders are going to have to deal with, too. If a driver in the mid-pack or further back in the field goes off, brings some dust or debris onto the track, it's going to be really hard for those lead drivers to spot once they come back around. And it's going to be another factor that we're going to be seeing throughout this weekend.
Yeah, just look at the background as well, right? We were talking about turn number 1 and this track going the other way around. You see the runoff there, right? We've kind of talked time and time again of drivers just needing to keep all, or 2 tires at least. That they were only allowed 2 tires into that first strip of blue paint. And now you don't have that room for error, right, in turn number 1. Or in reality, all these corners, right? You talk about turns 14, 15, and 16. If you miss your braking zone in turn 14, you're going straight into AstroTurf. You're going straight and you're losing a significant amount of time. So, like you mentioned, a very good point, Nate. The room for error, the margin of error has decreased exponentially here this weekend with this new layout, new iteration, and new challenge for a lot of drivers as we're seeing here. And again, we're looking at the timing charts. This is the qualifying session for these junior drivers. Sebastian Hauser is currently fastest. Bronson Kustas is right behind him in the second spot to Mason Moses, Aaron Spears, and Henry Escalette. Your top 5. Troy Ferguson, the driver we're following right now, is currently in 6th. And it's a long run up to the start-finish line. And Ferguson moves up to 3rd, to Hauser, to Spears now, who goes quickest overall. And 40 seconds to go with lap times of over a minute. This is the final lap for almost the entirety of this field.
Yeah, Spears had a mega middle sector at that time to put him on provisional pole. It's quick from him so far. We haven't talked about him a lot, Caleb, but this could be a breakout weekend for him.
And when you look at the gap in between the first two, the top 2 of Spears and Hauser, 1,000th of a second to Troy Ferguson. It was about a 10th almost, 99 hundredths of a second back in 3rd. Hauser just crossed the line, didn't improve on the final time around. And that 3rd sector was really what just didn't help him out at all. 106.123. Spears now getting ready to cross the line. Everybody rolling on by. There's the 305 on the Nash Motorsports machine across the line. Can anybody go better? Ferguson a 3rd, Kustas 4th. Nobody goes better. Spears improves to hold on to the pole position. A 106.030. Aaron Spears in the 305 is on the pole position in K100 Junior.
That is so surprising to me, Caleb, that Troy Ferguson did not get pole position. Fastest in Sector 1, fastest in Sector 2, and then Sector 3 losing 7/10 of a second to the fastest time. Must have caught traffic, must have made some mistake, but Troy Ferguson should have been on pole there, but a mistake made. It's going to put Spears on top. And like we've been saying, Caleb, just one little mistake, especially on this layout, is going to cost you. And that's exactly what happened to Ferguson. Down in 3rd, so obviously not the worst of starting spots, a 2nd row for him, but still some work to be done for the Kartnet guys.
And a lot of work to be done for a good number of drivers as well that are going to be buried in this field, just looking to work their way further up the order. And you got to think of the success Kartnik had at round number 2 with Frankie Mossman winning on this platform, winning on the KA100 package, proving to be, again, a program, a combination, a beat. But the 305, Aaron Spears puts it on the pole position above the rest of the competition. 26, or I should say 25 drivers were not able to go better than the 305. It's time for the seniors to qualify as they all head out of the grid and get ready to set their fast laps. We were looking in on Johnny Stamps, a driver who's been, again, quite, I should say, accomplished to start 2026. He was able to win over at round number 1. And again, good results for him throughout the qualifying heats as well. When you look at the qualifying session, though, Steven Eisert was able to take the first pole position of the year. And the second one went the way of Jackson Menchu, catching the field by surprise out of the slow group for the Cowboy Driver Development Camp. And here for round number 3, anybody's game. It's a complete reset, a complete 180, if you will, go in the opposite direction for a lot of these drivers. And something new and could be maybe issues here for Johnny Stamps as we're getting this one started and fired off. He's out there on his own. Look like he's trying to warm up the tires. He was looking down, looking like he wanted to make an adjustment on the carburation there, Nate.
Yeah, nothing to worry about right now, at least from my perspective. It just looks like he wants some clean air. And I mean, obviously, Johnny, GFC, Formula Works, they know this track like the back of their hand. So if he's taking a slow out lap, I'm going to trust him on that and think that they have a run plan and a strategy for this qualifying session. Like you said, Caleb, Johnny not having the weekend he maybe would have wanted last time out as he continues to go to work on that carburetor, the K100 power plant. Just a nice and slow run up, and then thinking he'll hit the gas once we get to the tic-tac-toe chicane, and that'll be the real tell if this GFC has any issues. But more drivers behind him still taking slow out laps, not wanting to overheat those pressed tires too much. The CS55 machines going slow into the chicane. Yellow flags flying, and there. Hammer goes down for more drivers. I think Steven Eisert potentially having an issue in 15 and 16.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who that was. It was one of the Kartniks. But again, we've talked a lot about the track. Why don't we go down to Jackson Lambros, who's been catching around. First of all, good morning to you, Jackson. And what are the people saying on this new layout, new direction that we have here this weekend?
Yeah, good morning, gents. Bit of mixed bag. Not necessarily fully negative, but a couple of complaints. Let's talk about the good first, though. A lot of roller coaster-like comments here from the drivers. Let's get started with the S's, 6 through 7. That right and left combination working our way what was formerly down the hill is almost shades of Suzuka. You work your way now to the famous Rocky Moran corner. I was asking drivers if it almost felt like moving from Eau Rouge to the corkscrew. They thought it felt a little bit more like Rainy Curve. So definitely still some Laguna Seca in there, but definitely going to be challenging. And that's where the negativity really seems to come in here, guys. It is going to be difficult to pass. You guys mentioned it earlier on. For the cadets, it is tight, it is technical in a lot of these places, and when you can throw it deep, you don't have a lot of runoff to really make it work. So it's going to take a little bit of extra courage to get some of these moves done, but no matter how you look at it, guys, it's going to be a challenge here for round 3.
Yeah, thank you there, Jackson. As again, we're following along with one of the Kartniks that look like potentially rejoining the racetrack. So good to hear there from Jackson. And again, the consensus kind of deeming that, that this place is going to be a little bit more difficult to pass. And that's really surprising to hear for myself, Nate, especially at a track that we've seen some great racing and a lot of, facilitation for passing, right? It's been almost easy to pass. You can pass in almost every single corner out here. And now to hear that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for drivers looking to set up passes in different zones. That's, to me, catching me by surprise, which makes, I would say, if from what we just heard from Jackson and what drivers are thinking, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pass, it makes this session that much more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And, after the drafting races that we've seen, almost super speedway-esque the past 2 weekends, of course, having a tight technical layout that's really going to reward drivers who, nail the setup, who get to grips with this layout. It's a nice change of pace. And, looking at the track map, obviously a lot of the favorite places to make moves have been taken away with the layout changes and going the opposite direction. Definitely agree it's going to be more difficult to pass. You might see a couple more late desperate sends this weekend than what we have in previous.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye. If you want to make a late send, now's the time to do it. 40 seconds to go. About 45. Time continuing to expire here as we work our way out of Rocky Moran and into the tic-tac-toe chicane. 14, 15, 16. Everybody just looking for a little bit more. And again, this is down to about 20. So it looked like Steven Eisert potentially was that driver just to the wayside on the Kartnick machine. So a new look for Eisert here this weekend as everybody else crosses. Cameron Perry currently fastest in the 474 to Luis Perez, Steven Searock, Grayson Schobert, Josh Leslie. All were able to get an extra lap. I think unfortunately for Johnny Stamps, he's not going to get another one. This will be it. As time now expiring. The clock hits 0, and the first couple of drivers are going to cross. Stamps is only down in 16th here, Nate. And again, that was a best first sector overall than everybody else, but it needs to be good here in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Did have to make a move there on a fellow GFC machine, and I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for Johnny Stamps. We're about to find out. That second sector, no improvement. Sector 3 going to be important for Johnny Stamps. Out of the S's, out of the chicane to the checkered flag. Johnny Stamps, round 1 winner. Where is he going to end up after the qualifying session? That's a big jump. The jump he needed potentially up to 4th for Johnny Stamps in the 412.
Yeah, it was big for him. Obviously, no improvement in Sector 2 and Sector 3. That first sector saved him huge. As more drivers will be coming across the line to further improve on this group of our KA100 seniors. Still another to go with just how big this KA100 senior class has become in the past couple weekends.
And again, Cameron Perry, just a mom and pop operation running GFCs here this weekend, upsets the rest of the field here for what could be the provisional pole position. This is only half of our field. We do have 34 that have joined us here for this weekend. So the second half of qualifiers getting ready to hit the track. And again, 34 drivers entered here this weekend. To see some of the fast Axis Motorsports machines like Archer Eversman and like a couple of others that are going to be joining us here this weekend. Again, I believe still haven't seen Matthew Cagle. He wasn't out there in that session. And he should be joining us here this weekend. Indeed, Keegan Kaminsky as well, another one who we haven't seen hit the racetrack for qualifying. He's set to go out momentarily. But a quick commercial break. All that separates us from finding out who's going to end up on the pole position in KA Senior. We'll be right back with qualifying action from the third round of the Champions of the Future America Series.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
If you like what you see and you want to join the grid, get ready as Champions of the Future America Series is heading towards round 3 on March 21st through the 22nd at K1 Circuit for the first ever reverse race. You're going to climb uphill through the S's, plunge downhill on the Bank Rocky Moran corner, and you'll challenge yourself to a racing experience.
Empire Karts, your trusted trackside kart specialist. Proudly supporting champions of the Future America Series, West Coast karting teams, and racers. Empire Karts, your trackside solution.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
McCrow Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at mccrowmotorsports.net.
Second half of KA seniors have hit the racetrack, and one of the biggest stories after that first half went out. Steven Eisert with issues. Jackson standing by with an update.
Well, guys, Steven Eisert, not even a guy we were expecting to be here. Speed Sense 10, not even here this weekend. And Eisert trying to find solutions. Got a call from the Team Kartnik guys saying, hey, we got a free ride. Frankie Mossman won last week. You guys want to come out and drive our OTK? He said, absolutely. Unfortunately for him, though, looks like Frankie might have ran out of juice in that kart because the chain got thrown twice during qualifying, so it will be difficult for him during the heats. But he's got confidence. He said, I'll find a way to the front, and if I don't, Frankie found a way to the front in this thing. I got to figure something out with myself if I can, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Jackson. And a very good point, right? That package and that pairing already proven and proving to be successful as it was here in round number 2 with Frankie Mossman in the KA100 senior class and platform. Now it's up to Steven Eisert to try and do the same and replicate that same luck. And yeah, just gremlins, right? Seemed like it was running fine throughout the practice sessions and the warm-up sessions. And when you turn around to the qualifying sessions for Eisert, that change is coming loose twice. Not once, but 2 times. We saw it there at the start, like he was able to get it back on and then was able to get going, wanted to put a lap in, never. Was really never able to put it down. And again, unfortunately, another one of the Kartniks is up on the side of the hill with issues as well. But we look at the second group here, Nate. And again, the likes of Matthew Cagle, Keegan Kaminsky, Eversman, Aquino, Brown, and more are racing here this weekend. And again, they all need to go better somehow, some way over Cameron Perry, who was able to set a 105.194. So that currently sits as a provisional pole position and as the time to beat here in this qualifying session.
Yeah, a lot of talent, though, in this session, though, Caleb. So not going to be surprised to see that time fall. Interesting to note about Steven Eisert with the chain coming off the gear twice in that session. A lot of the high-speed corners this direction, if you do go off, you're putting the right side into the dirt like you see through here. And, of course, that's where the chain is, so it's drop a tire through there. It's a lot easier to pop a chain this direction with going into the dirt, not having that exit curbs that you're used to that are now being used as to help with turn-in now as well. So the gremlins that was thinking might be happening, this layout with the chains popping off already happening on the opening qualifying sessions.
And another one of the Kartnik machines that we saw there off the racetrack. Jackson, another update.
As soon as I was filling you guys in on the issues with Steven Eisert, as I was speaking, one of the other Kartnik OTKs getting back on the stand to take a look at it very quickly. The 435 of Maxi Saga did go back out on track, but I think it was issues with the front motor mount that has found him back towards the scales, guys.
Yeah, and again, just a simple mistake. Thank you there, Jackson. A simple mistake there, Nate, as the motor mount, right? And that's really something that's, again, you go back to the tent, you go back to kind of work on it, change a gear maybe, loose up the motor a little bit to just get the chain off. And, a mistake really, where you're not doing those precautionary checks before sending the kart out on track. So that's unfortunately hurt Maxi Saga in his qualifying session, his qualifying hopes here, Nate.
Yeah, unfortunate. Just one of those things that happens every once in a while, and I can guarantee you all the tuners, mechanics, and drivers this weekend will probably be tightening the motor mounts extra tight and all the other critical infrastructure on this kart just to make sure everything stays in one piece and on the kart. Just such a brutal layout from what we're already seeing, especially through this tic-tac-toe section, and not to mention the amount of speed you're having on what used to be the exit curbs, using that as turn-in, vibrating the kart violently on turn-in. It's going to be a race of attrition this weekend. Yeah, well, there's going to be no surprise on the pole position as well here, Nate.
That's not going to go the way of Cameron Perry, as Keegan Kaminsky was able to set a fast lap of a 104.966, and he's currently the only driver on the racetrack that has been able to go that fast. Driver in second, none other than Matthew Cagle. We've talked a lot about the rookie to start off 2026 here in the state of California for the Champions of the Future America Series. Archer Eversman, another driver who has been up at the front of this field and impressive, really, to say the least here. This battling here, though, as they go back and forth for position. Cagle going to go on the inside there of Eversman, going to pretty much trigger the rest of the field to go by as well. That's going to send them just a little bit down the order, and we'll see what Cagle can do. Didn't lose all that much time making that pass. Checkered flag flies this time by Cagle out of the chicane. You see how aggressive he is over turn 14. And to the checkered flag for Matthew Cagle, looking to go better than Kaminsky. It's not going to be enough. A 10th, what Cagle needed, and that should be good enough for Keegan Kaminsky in the 465 to put it on the pole position here in KA Senior.
Yeah, that's big for Formula Works and GFC. 1-2 for those two, Keegan Kaminsky, Matthew Cagle, putting in some banger lap times. Just under a 10th separating those two, and the rest of the field are going to be put on notice. Of course, who else with those Formula Works GFC, Caleb? They've been so dominant in really all classes throughout the 2 rounds we've seen thus far, and they're hoping to continue that dominance today.
And they certainly will, as Keegan Kaminsky was able to put down a flyer to close off that session. And you see him there just putting it up on the stand, and who else helping him out than Jake Drew, 2-time winner already in 2026 here in the 125cc power plant in the X30 Pro division here. And Kaminsky, the blackout look for himself in the Formula Works GFC machine. That pairing, that package on rails all year long. And again, we saw him in the X30 Pro division to start off the year, but a switch over to 100cc proving to be a perfect match for those drivers here, Nate. But in a couple of moments, just one more qualifying session to go with our Heritage drivers and our X30 Pros coming your way next. Well, the green flag flies in the second, or I should say the final qualifying session of the morning, getting ready to kick off here for us. And it's going to be the X30 Pro Division and the K8 100 Heritage drivers. And again, a smaller entry count for the Heritage Division and the the X30 Pros, I should say, which is pretty much granted the officials here this weekend to put them all together and to speed up the run order just a little bit here this weekend. So that's going to provide for a little bit of lap traffic, I would assume, in the main events potentially tomorrow for the X30 drivers. And that will be something different to navigate for them as they look to get everything under and up to temperature. And one of the Heritage drivers is now caught up to the back of that pack here, Nate. But something different. You talk about endurance racing. You talk about, having to make moves, multi-class racing. This is, again, for a driver like Eric Doan, who the goal for him isn't Formula One. It isn't, NASCAR or even IndyCar. It's to go into endurance racing, and this is exactly what you got to face, multi-class racing. So this is the best practice to do it here this weekend with should be 10 drivers out there on the racetrack at the same time, with 5 of the Heritage drivers, and it should be 5 as well for the X30 drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch this situation throughout the weekend to see if they do, in fact, get some lap traffic towards the end of that final on Sunday. We'll have to be watching times and seeing how long sessions are, of course, to see that. But a little bit of multi-class racing, like you said, Caleb. We have the 12 hours of Sebring going on right now in Florida, and then obviously KA Heritage and the X30 Pros will be doing the same this weekend as well. No Jake Drew for this weekend, like we saw him on the wrenches for Keegan Kaminsky and KA 100 and the rest of that Formula Works GFC tent. So that opens the door for Eric Doan. The driver has been so close on many of occasion throughout heat racing and main event action to try and put himself on the top step of the podium. You can also say Sergei Karamseli, the GFC Formula Works driver who put it on pole for the inaugural race a couple months ago, will be trying to take that away from Eric Doan, who goes fastest last time by for the 607 machine, 1 minute 3.3, the time to beat.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you bring up there, Nate, right? It opens opportunity, opens the door for any other driver to look to put himself on the top step of the podium at the end of the weekend. And like you mentioned, right, that could be Eric Doan, Karamseli, Wrigley Keys, Kurt Harnish, anybody's game as far as that goes. One driver didn't join us, and that was Daniel Mineo in the 615, not out there on the racetrack. But we look on with our Heritage drivers, and Blake Lawrence on the CRG for Precision Works is out there and currently on the provisional pole position for his respective class. There's a change at the top of the timing pylon. Wrigley Keys now fastest to Karamseli, to Eric Doan, to Harnish. Blake Lawrence still at the top over Tony Gomez, Craig Vasquez, Andre Isaac, and Diego Pelosi, who's now up to 8th. Isaac falling down to 9. Yeah, but Pelosi up to 8th in the 519.
Yeah, back in X30, Keys fastest at the moment. These 3 drivers you see on screen, all 3 of them setting a purple sector time last time by, but Sergei Karamseli under investigation from the officials. We'll have to see what that is about, but 1 minute 30 remaining in qualifying here, Caleb. All of them in lockstep right now, just using each other as drafting partners going through this tic-tac-toe section and back onto the main straightaway. Just a couple more laps for them to try and put down a time. Doan does not improve, Karamseli does not improve, and it's still the National Motorsports driver of Keys leading the way.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned, the cool feature here on the live timing shows us and shows the differences of fastest sector. Sector 3, Eric Doan was better than everybody else. And in Sector 1, Karamseli was better. And I actually stand corrected because that now changes. as they crossed the timing loop in that first sector, and Doan just went fastest overall. So you can see the improvement, right? Lap by lap, just going that little bit better on the West Coast Motorsports barrel art. And out of turn number 9 now, into 10, down to 11, which is Rocky Moran this weekend. Number changes, name doesn't. But you can visibly see Caroselli, Wrigley Keys, the two of them with a mistake, I believe, out of Caroselli has held up Keys here a little bit. He's going to have one more go at it on this final lap, and Eric Doan improves a 102.698 for Doan to go to the top of the timing charts over Keys and Caroselli. Further down, Blake Lawrence, no change in Heritage, to Tony Gomez, to Pelosi, Vasquez, Isaac. Still the way the Heritage drivers run, but this qualifying session just got a little bit more interesting as now Doan moves to the wayside. Caroselli is going to go through. Keys as well. He didn't improve, but this is going to be all eyes on Sergei Caroselli in the 604 and 8.
Yeah, not improving in that first sector. Didn't have a very good third sector last time by as well. Over a second off, just under a second off, I should say, of Eric Doan's time through that third sector, which essentially is through Rocky Moran, the downhill, and then really it's who's fastest through this tic-tac-toe section is Caroselli, hand up, coming into the pit lane.
So that's going to call it early. Eric Doan on the pole position here in X30 Pro. That was a great lap out of Doan. He was able to go better pretty much in that first sector, and I believe in sector 2 as well, where those were two of the sectors where he really was able to gain some time. But Eric Doan, the 607 on the pole, and as well in K Heritage, Blake Lawrence in the 517 puts it on the pole position over Tony Gomez, Pelosi, Isaac, and Vasquez. Wrigley Keys going to start alongside Doan on row number 1. Caroselli on row 2 to Kurt Harnish in 4th. But Doan, we talked about this rookie improving session after session and round after round. The pole position comes his way here for round number 3.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-kart thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayGara.com. At ShopPayGara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayGara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here for the free coverage of the Champions of the Future America Series live from K1 Circuit Winchester. If you want to watch all the racing action live later on today, we're live in 3 different states, 3 different places, 3 different series, 3 different races going on here this week. And you can watch it all live for only $9.99 a month. And again, that'll bring you all main event coverage, all pre-final coverage, all racing coverage for that matter, to your way. We are very, very busy to close off the month of March. You're not going to want to miss any of the racing action live. But for myself, Caleb Vieska, and Nate Dean, we'll see ya on the other side.
This broadcast is the sole property of Kart Chaser Group, LLC. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the images, audio, or accounts of this event, in whole or in part, without the expressed written consent of Kart Chaser Group, LLC is strictly prohibited. Thanks for watching.